We are showing how to hang a wall hung vanity unit on the wall.
Lovely.
Basically, this one's got fixings that go on the wall like that. It's got a little hook that if you look on the back of the unit here, it's to come out. So that hook's in there basically, and then once it's got weight, it can't go nowhere, and you adjust it, tighten it up, level it from there. What we do is we find centre, which obviously our unit is 590. So here, quick maths, 250, 295. We worked this out on the first fix to allow enough room for the bar. So we'll come centre off that waist. Working line, we'll keep it below that. That's our centre mark. With the back of this, it's obviously got an infill, and as I said, the brackets are going to sit inside that. So basically I take a measurement from there, it's going to sit flush with there. Measurement from inside there is 560. Oh, all this maths. So that's 280. So obviously there's our centre point. So then we measure 280 from there. So there's the outside of our bracket. So this is obviously the height, but it's going to have the basin on top. So that adds another, I don't know, 40 mil, 30 mil. That's 50 mil. So
oh, he's well off.
Miles out, mate. Is a standard basin can be anywhere from 800 high to the top, 850. It's all about preference, really. Obviously, if it's floor standing, you're governed by what the height of it is, but 850 is about right, which we had that laser set at. So
It's
yeah,
very handy, that laser level, isn't it?
it's good. It does it. You can't live without them nowadays. They're so easy for trying to get a level, especially when you can't mark it on the wall, you know. Then what we do, that's going to be our marker. So what I do, because our solid bit's at the bottom, I'll measure from the top of there to the bottom, which is 150. Top of there, down to the bottom of our bracket is 150, which is there. So now that level, it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't need the height, so best thing to do is actually drop this to the bracket height. 700.
That's good.
Right, so that's the bottom of our bracket. So I can see that line. And we've double checked the height. So I think we're good to go. What I'm actually going to do is start all three first, because that's obviously the hardest bit of the tile, and you can wear your tile bit down. So
How do you know if your drill bit might need wetting again?
well, once it starts chucking out dry powder, so if we've just got it wet, you can see the wet ring around it. And once it's heated up again, that will all dry out and start chucking dust out again. So that's always too much water. You can never have too much water, really. I did actually learn a little trick that a tiler taught me once. I don't know how accurate it is, but it did work for me. So sometimes if you're obviously going forward with the drill all the time, it can lose the diamonds on that way. Sometimes you can just chuck it in reverse, and then it might be a little bit sharper going the other way if you think gone round that way. Still not great, but if you're running low on tile drill bits, because they're not exactly cheap, are they? If anything does ever go wrong, if it's going forward and it goes wrong, it will skid that way. So chuck it in reverse if you're cutting that side. So if it does ever skip, it's going to go that way. And if it scratches there, it's not ideal, but it's hidden. So, and then obviously the opposite this way.
The wall plugs in.
Getting those in, mate.
So many choices from.
Something with a bit of girth on it, mate. Right, there's our line. Yeah.
How come you're using that drill and not a...
I like this one because it's a bit delicate. The impact gun can be a bit aggressive, and the tiles can, but it also stops when it's tight. What do you reckon? There's going to be a pipe in the way? They hook on there, Need to check the level. I reckon looking at it, it's pissed. It is. Yeah, only because it's not tightened up. I adjusted one of these earlier.
So what's that doing?
So that's lowering the, you know, the hook that was at the back of the unit.
Yep.
That obviously adjusts at an angle. This bad boy, use your thumbs to gauge how far the edges are hanging.
Yeah, nice.
You know? And that's how you install a vanity basin. We are now gonna set the tap up and the waste. What should I do first? I'll do the pop-up waste first because it makes it easier to rest the basin because a bit sticks out and then you can sit it like that. Always put a little bit of CT1 in there because you don't want these leaking. Obviously this has got an overflow, so we line the holes up with there. It's got a rubber that supposedly is just meant to stop the water, but I always put a little bit of silicone in there, just a little bit around the bottom, push that rubber on. And we got a plastic nut here, so you never want to over tighten them because you can snap the nut, which is no good. And then obviously all the little bits of silicone you've pushed out come out.
You've done well there, mate.
Beauty.
Can you give me another one of them presses?
Oh, the old click?
Yeah. Ooh, very nice.
So then the tap, obviously, get that a little bit out of the way so we don't damage it. It's got a small thread, big thread. Obviously the small thread just goes into the tap, holds it in place. Little rubber, stop any water getting back down the hole. Sits in there all nice. These are the flexies, which go right up inside the tap. Do hot on the left, cold on the right. So we push the towels through. So that goes round and the little hole goes over the screw. Same again with the metal, put the flat side against the basin and then we just put the little nut on. Make sure that's square, tighten her up finger tight. Double check we're in the right place this side, tap's facing the right way. You just want to make sure it's tight enough so that the tap doesn't wobble. Now, we put that back over there so that it don't get damaged.
You're very good, you are.